Hi, I'm Tracy, VE3TWM. Thank you for tuning in to Outdoors on the Air. Hey folks, it's Friday, October 27th, and I am here at Wheatley Provincial Park in extreme southwestern Ontario. To give you an idea of geography, I am south of the city of Detroit, Michigan, even though I'm in Canada. In Ontario, I'm actually located at a point which is further south than parts of northern California. So it is definitely the southernmost area in Canada, which really basically kind of thrusts me into the US Midwest. I've got Ohio across Lake Erie, and I'm right on the shore of Lake Erie. This particular park is. My campsite isn't, it's actually on a creek which drains into Lake Erie, literally just over there. But what I'd like to do now is walk you through the campsite, and this is a very unique campsite. I haven't had one like this before, and I think you'll be interested at the layout. I got some decisions to make. Where am I going to put my telescopic mast? I've got my 50-foot telescopic DX wire mast with me. Where am I going to locate it? I've got a 51-foot wire antenna I'm going to be using, an N9 SAB G5RV if everything goes to plan. That's the one I'll be using. And I need to figure out, okay, where am I going to put my sleeping tent? And because there's the threat of rain, Saturday night, the weather is supposed to be clear for the most part between now, Friday, midday, it's what, 12:30-ish. It's supposed to be clear up until tomorrow night. Sometime during the night the rain will start, and I apparently continue all the way through Sunday. So I get a decision to make as to whether or not I'm going to erect a rain shelter, or whether I'm going to just operate outdoors for as long as I can at the picnic table, or bring it all into the sleeping tent, which I can absolutely do. I can have my cot set up in there, I can have the table set up in there. So first things first, let's take a walk around the site and you can see what I'm dealing with from a logistical perspective, and then make some decisions based upon that, where I'm going to locate everything. Okay, it's going to be a little bit of jerkiness as I move the camera around, and I'm just going to swing it around slowly here. So here's the driveway in, here's the adventure mobile. It's all ready to be unpacked, but as I mentioned, I want to figure out what's going on with the landscape. Now, as I look towards the campsite here, there is sort of a depression that I'm facing right now. This is directly behind my vehicle. Off to the right, just over here, is actually a bit of a passageway to the next campsite. It's actually quite spacious. And I took a look at that when I first saw it, and I thought, you know what, given that there's some overhead here, I'm just going to slowly take a look up with the camera. There's actually quite a break in the canopy there. I could have the wire antenna go through there. And as I walk a little bit further this way, you're going to be able to see the fire pit at the other campsite. I don't think I'm going to do that. I don't think I'm going to run the far end of the antenna over that way. Now, an interesting logistic is that nobody has, to the point as of this morning, before I left home, which is about 3 hours away, nobody had booked this neighboring site. So I may yet consider that, but I'm just I'll continue to look around and make some decisions based upon what I see. So as I move back, I'm turning to my left. Here you can see an open area here, and it's elevated from where I'm standing. It's probably up another 3.5 feet, and it's a fairly level area up there. So that sure looks like it's going to be home base for me up there. Let me just walk up here and show you around. This is absolutely one of the most scenic sites I have ever stayed at. I've got water, and this is fresh water, of course, off the Great Lakes. I've got water, and let me see here, that's probably looking towards the northwest there, and then coming around to the west and then to the south. So there's water all the way around. Now, a complicating factor, and I don't want to move the camera around too much because there's a family over there, and their campsite is completely unfettered from a viewing perspective. They're wide open to me, although they're leaving today, and nobody had booked that site as of tonight. So maybe I'll have the place to myself this evening. We'll see how that goes. But now if I take the camera and I'm standing here pretty much just on the edge of that plateau where I've got this nice flat area, which is a nice big sized area, I'm just going to move the camera up so you can see. You know, so I've got access to the sky here. So I'm thinking if I come over this way and just walking over here, it's windy out here, and I keep kicking the tripod as I'm walking here. But hopefully you can still hear me over the wind. Let's see here. So I've got a fair amount of room to work with, and the sun, of course, the sun is shining very brightly in that direction. If I'm just going to hold the camera, walk a little bit back here, and I think I've got a lot of room to orient the antenna in a roughly north-south configuration, which of course will give me best performance broadside, so east and west. And I've got a lot of room. I don't think I need to worry. And by the way, there is that little corridor to the other campsite that I was showing you earlier. I don't think I need to use that at all. I think I've got plenty of room right here to keep it all within the confines of my own site. So if I'm going to put the telescopic pole somewhere, I'm sort of thinking it's going to go right about where I'm standing now. And actually, let me just do this. I'll just hold the camera up and show you the window to the sky that I have right above me. That is perfect. Okay. So if I put it somewhere around here, you know what? I think I need to move it just a little bit down this way. I want to get that other leg spread out. It's a G5 RV that I plan on using. We'll see how that goes. You know, you always run into things when you're setting up. And the G5 RV should be as close to horizontal as possible. That's just the way they were designed. I'm not going to be able to get it in that configuration. I'll definitely have it in an inverted V, just due to the confines, the measurements of the campsite here. So it's going to have to be an inverted V. My goal is going to try to make it as horizontal as possible within that constraint. So if I'm putting the antenna, the telescopic pole here, then I am thinking, okay, just off anywhere in front of me could be the sleeping tent and my rain shelter. One of the things I'm thinking about, this particular site here is designated as radio free. Hang on just a sec. I'm going to put out the tripod legs and talk to you face on. So this campsite is designated as radio free, and of course what they're talking about in that case is that no loud music blaring. Well, of course, I'm here to do radio, so I'm not going to be doing the radio free thing, but I've never really had an issue in provincial parks with that before, and I don't anticipate that today. However, given the possibility of somebody moving into the campsite next door here tonight, and then somebody over here, I probably don't want to put my radio operation close to that campsite. That one is far enough away, I don't need to worry about it from a sound perspective. But I think maybe if I put my radio stuff over to this side, that's going to take care of that logistic for me as best as I can. So there you go. I think I have a plan. I love to change my planning as I'm actually going through it. but first order of the day for me always is shelters. It must be coming up on 1 o'clock right now, so it's 12:43. So it typically takes me, if I put up my tent and getting everything set up inside it will take me about an hour. That'll take me close to 2. If I do decide to put up the rain shelter, then it's going to be another hour probably to put that up. It's a bit of a cumbersome thing for one person to put up. And I may not do that. And once I've got those two set up, then up goes the telescopic mast and the G5 RV. So I'm going to get to work setting up my shelters. I'll come back to you in a bit. Whew, okay. It's now 2:05, so I blew past my 1 hour time frame for getting the my sleeping shelter set up. Let me just adjust the camera a little bit here. So on the left, I've got my cot with sleeping bag and pillow, of course. Nice thing about a cot, by the way, if you're getting into camping, you're not sure whether you should have a cot or not. Number one, they increase the comfort factor to the point where it doesn't matter how big and heavy and bulky and tough to set up they are. This is a Cabela's. It's one of their heavier duty ones, and it is a bit of a bear to set up every time I do, but the quality of sleep is well worth it. And as far as quality of sleep goes, I've also got a minus 18 Celsius, which I believe is 0 Fahrenheit bag from I picked up. It's a Cabela's bag. I hummed and hawed over it. It was $250 Canadian, which is a lot of money for a sleeping bag, and I already had 3 sleeping bags, but none of them were comfortable. This is an I believe it's an XL, and it's something like 44 inches wide. I'm a side sleeper, and I toss and turn during the night. Any other bag I ever used gave me constricted movement, which didn't help my sleep, and on top of that, they weren't particularly warm. This thing has been crazy warm in temperatures as far down as freezing. Haven't actually used it out, so 32 Fahrenheit. Haven't used it out in temperatures below that, but so far it's been a tremendous investment, and I would recommend one highly. They're bulky as heck. Absolutely, when you roll them up and store them, they take up a ton of room. It's all synthetic, it's not down. So just be warned on that front. I've got a nightside table there, and over on the right hand side is my shack table. I've elected not to set up the cooking shelter. Rain isn't expected until tomorrow night, but when it does set in, it just looks like it's going to be steady, and I don't want to have to deal with packing it up all alone on Sunday morning in the rain. So I'm just going to go with what I got here. Now the weather right now is phenomenal for October, this time late in October. The temperatures in the 70s. I've had to take off 2 layers. I'm just in a t-shirt now, and it's absolutely fantastic. Tomorrow's temperatures are going to dip considerably from mid 70s. What's it going to be tomorrow? So maybe 12 degrees Celsius, which double that. 24, add 32, so in the 50s tomorrow, and then cooling off as we get into the evening. So you know what, I may do some outdoor operating this evening and tomorrow morning, just from the picnic table, but I did also bring along my Mr. Buddy heater, so I can actually use it to warm the inside of the tent if I need to. You know what? I don't think it's going to be that cold. They're not really threatening to get down into single digits until overnight Sunday, and I'm not going to leave it on overnight. But there you have it. There is there is my station, the inside station for this upcoming weekend. I'm standing at pretty close to the far end of the campsite here. There's you can see the top of my sleeping shelter in the frame here. But what I'm trying to do is give you an idea of the overhead tree limb canopy. And from where I'm standing right here, you can see clear through to the other side of the site with no tree branches in between. So this is the way I'm going to want to orient the G5 RV. I want to give it a straight shot and get it up as high as possible. Since I've got my 50-foot DX wire mast, I can put the feed point up at about 40 feet and then bring the radiators out either side from there. So I know that I want the telescopic pole mount to be along this line somewhere. Typically, even though a G5 RV isn't a center fed, somewhere in the middle there. I'm going to have to use paracord at either end of the antenna anyway to tie the ends off. But this is the thinking for putting up the pole mount where I'm going to put it. Let's go take a closer look at that right now. Here's the pole mount I was referring to earlier, in case you haven't seen my videos on this device. Just simply a piece of 3-inch PVC, and it's about 3, maybe 3.5 feet high, and I just set it up. Use paracord. I've got some O-rings here with some Night Eyes cam jam fasteners that really enable me to set this up fairly quickly, and then I just stake out these guys all the way around the base of the PVC pole mount. I'm out of breath. I've been banging with the butt end of the hatchet, putting stakes in the ground. Normally I use these screw in, they hold the soil, and then they take the line that comes off the PVC pole mount. But I found today with this soil here, I could only get the stake down about, I don't know, a third the way or so, and then it just wasn't turning anymore. So I've switched to using all aluminum stakes. Let me show you. These are all hammered down into the ground quite well, and the soil is biting down there, so I'm not too concerned that this is going to come down. It's been very breezy since I got here. I expect that to continue, but I have 8. I have 8 of these pegs in, and I think they're going to do just fine. I'll keep an eye on them as time goes on, certainly if the wind keeps up. But for the most part, this is an extremely solid mount, and let's see what happens if the breeze keeps up and then it starts to rain, as in tomorrow night. Which, that's the thing. I'm here for Friday night tonight, then tomorrow all day Saturday, and it's not until Saturday after dark that it's supposed to start raining. So even if the soil does loosen up a bit, it's going to be towards the top and not towards the bottom, and my guess is it's going to be just fine through Sunday night, and I may even through Sunday morning, which is when I'm packing up, and I may even just pull it down on Saturday night, depending upon how tired I am, etc., etc. Let's see how that goes. But anyway, stage 1 of the antenna project is done. Now it's time to get the G5 RV in the air. Because rain is in the forecast, I've gone ahead and I've just tightly wrapped electrical tape around the coaxial connections, and here there's no secret to this. You just wrap it tightly. This is what electricians do. They wrap it. The tape is designed, as long as you're buying decent quality electrical tape, the tape is designed to be tightly wrapped, and it makes a great seal. Just make sure that you go beyond where the coax is onto the molding, and you're going to be fine, and water's going to stay out for a couple of days or whatever duration you're out there. People sometimes ask me about the telescopic poles, and the first thing that I do is, this is my 50-foot DX wire, so I'm not going to try to attach the feed point of the antenna way on up at the tip of the pole, because the pole is just going to bend over like that. So what I do is I usually extend a couple of sections, just like I've done here. This is the second section, and here's the joint where the third section comes in. And just in case you've never used one of these, actually let me do this. It is as simple as pulling it out and twisting to lock in place. There's no grooves or anything, it's just a friction fit. And now I don't trust that to stay up there in wind and rain or whatever else. So what I will do is I'm going to use electrical tape to go around here again, wrap it tightly. I'm only out here for a couple of days. I'm not worried about the tape damaging the poles. You can see there's some discoloring. It doesn't affect the performance of the pole any, so I don't pay that any attention. But because this is the bottom of the second segment from the top, this is where I am going to affix the feed point of the G5RV. Here's a close-in look of the feed point, and I do have it taped around. This is where the two sections come together, so it's wrapped tightly with electrical tape. By the way, you notice I took the end and I folded it over. That when it comes tear down time, that'll make it a lot easier for me to find the end and then just peel it off. And this is on there solid and tight. And of course, as I extend the sections, I'm going to also, every second section, I'm going to use electrical tape to take this this twin lead and affix it to the pole itself. And the reason I'm doing that is because I don't want that twin lead or the coax that follows it just to be dangling. That could cause the telescopic pole to flex and bend, and I don't want that. I want this thing straight and tall, which is why I brought the feed point and I'm attaching it at two sections down rather than up top. What I've just done is extend the radiators on the ground in either direction. I've uncoiled the twin lead and it's just dangling down now. And of course, when you're just working alone, just you, this is the trickiest bit. Getting the dipole, the off-center fed, the Windham, the G5RV up in the air, not getting stuff tangled as you pull up the feed point. So I just go slowly. I've got paracord tied off to the ends. So what I typically will do is I'll tie both ends off to a tree, just sort of holding them in place, and it's fine if it's got some sag. I'm just trying to make sure that up at the feed point, nothing's going to get snarled together up there, because it's a bit of a bummer to go check your SWR after your antenna is up, find out something's askew, and then go up and try to peer and see, okay, did those wires get crossed? And when they did, then you have to bring it all down and try it again. So I go slowly and carefully, and that means I don't have any of those situations. Saturday morning came, and with it substantially cooler temperatures and a generally overcast sky. After breakfast and a morning fire, it was time to put the POTA station together. Okay, time to take a look at the gear I'll be using today. First up, my SGC, SG 2020. 20 watt rig, although I anticipate running it at about 5 watts for today's activity. Next thing up, back over here. How the heck did that, how did that get in there? My beloved Yaesu FT817ND. All right, we're ready for the air. Here's a tip for you outdoorsy POTA camping guys who love to get out there with the radios. You know what? There's nothing fun or nice about sitting on a damp, cold picnic table bench. So what I have done very successfully is used one of these emergency blankets. They're not very expensive at all. They cost about $20 Canadian, so I don't know, what's that, $14 US. They've got a foil on one side, which is fairly rugged, and then a more rugged exterior shell, so you can use these things as a tarp. You can use it as an emergency blanket. I believe the actual term for the product is all-weather emergency blanket. But the idea is with the foil is that it reflects body heat back to you. So you put this over top of the bench that you're sitting on, and by the way, it'll work for a hard chair as well, of course, any hard surface you happen to be sitting on, and it'll just reflect your body heat back up to you. You don't get the dampness of the surface you're sitting on, and you get some additional warmth for your butt. It makes outdoor operating in cool, inclement weather a bit nicer. Let's just take a quick look at the station. So I've got here my Yaesu FT817. I've also got my SGC Mac 200 auto tuner. I'm still learning to use this and trying it out with different antennas. I've had mixed results, to be frank. Some antennas it seems to do a really nice job on. Others not so much. I'm going to be interested to see how it works with the G5RV. The Yaesu will be set to 5 watts, and over on the right hand side you'll be able to see a 10 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery. That is the one which is powering the SGC auto tuner, and just to the forefront there with the green electrical tape strip around it is my 6 amp hour Talent Cell battery. It's a cheap Chinese battery made, they're sold off Amazon, sells for about $60 Canadian. I think you could probably pick it up for 40 or 45 US currently. And I have yet to really put this one through the ringer to see just how long I can operate with, but let's find out. Let's get this thing on the air, see if I can get the G5RV tuned up, and what kind of luck I have from there.
Kilo X-ray 4 Yankee Quebec.
Kilo X-ray 4 Yankee Quebec. Please copy a 5 and 7 from Victor Echo 0434.
QSL also got you a 5x7 into Victor Alpha.
Well, thanks for the contact. Really appreciate it. 7-3 and have a wonderful weekend.
You too, 73. Kilo 9 Delta Echo Golf.
Kilo 9 Delta Echo Golf. Please take my 5 and 9 from Victor Echo 0434.
QSL 59 Wisconsin. Thanks for the park and 7-3. Are you going to spot?
I have not had a spot yet. If you wouldn't mind, I'd appreciate it.
Okay, 0434. I will spot you.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. 7-3. I'm in the middle of filming a video, and the lady next door, who is packing up her campsite, has been cooking beef stew over the campfire, and she just gifted some to me. Wonderful. That's dinner. It sure beats freeze-dried.
Norway 9, India Tango Bravo.
Norway 9, India Tango Bravo. Please copy a 5 and 9 from Victor Echo 0434.
Okay, thank you very much, Tracy. Name here is Jack, Juliet Alpha Charlie Kilo, and you are also a 5-9 into LaPorte, Indiana, 40 miles east of Chicago. Over.
Hey Jack, thanks for the 5 and 9. I'm only running a Yaesu FT817, pumping out a whole 5 watts, so that's nice to hear, but your signal is booming in.
Okay, likewise to you. You're doing a great job, and I'm going to do an activation or two myself this afternoon, so have fun, and we'll kick you down the log. 7-3.
Park to Park Alpha 3, Victor.
There's a park-to-park station. Come on back.
Hey Tracy, let me make sure I got it. Whiskey Victor 1 Whiskey, Park to Park. Whiskey Victor 1 Whiskey. Back to you, Tracy.
Hey, Whiskey Victor 1 Whiskey. Is this Don?
Yes, sir. Hey, Tracy, it's Don in Connecticut. My park is 4582. That's Kilo 4582. How you doing, Tracy? Long time no talk, buddy.
Hey Don, you're doing a nice job in here. I'm giving you a 5 and 9 into VE0434. Not too bad. How are things going for yourself?
Oh, we got a picture perfect day here, but I only have you 3x3. 3x3, Tracy. Using a full-size quarter-wave resident quarter-wave ground plane here. 7-3, Tracy.
Well, I was wandering Dayton Hamvention earlier this year, and stopped by the ARRL booth, and holy cow, I was really blown away. I thought, you know, I figure I'm just a little wee YouTube channel somewhere. Nobody really knows about me. I'm grateful for all the people who subscribe and watch my videos, of course, but I couldn't believe my eyes. ARRL put out a shirt featuring my channel. How awesome is that? Look at this, amateur radio. We've got the tower, we got the trees, the campfire, even the tent, and outdoors on the air. But hold on, guys, this is just a public service message for the good folks at the ARRL. The channel name is actually Outdoors on the Air. There's no "and" in it. I'm just going to take my Sharpie right now and just get rid of that "and." We'll just make that completely legit now. But yeah, for version 2 of the shirts, guys, you can drop the "and." The channel name is Outdoors on the Air.
Victor Alpha 3, Sierra Victor.
Bravo 3, Uniform Radio Victoria.
Victor Alpha 3, Sierra Victor, come on back. You got a 5-9 into Victor Echo 0434.
Very good. VA3S3 from Stony Creek here. You're 5-9 as well.
Hey, fantastic. Not bad for 5 watts, huh? That's awesome. Appreciate the contact. Hope you have a wonderful weekend.
You too, Tracy. 7-3 for now. VA3SV clear.
Kilo Bravo 3, Uniform Radio Victoria.
Kilo Bravo 3 station, please forgive me. My fingers aren't working quite as well as they should. What was that after the suffix?
Okay, I'm sorry, you faded out on me. It was Kilo Bravo 3, Uniform Radio Victoria. I have you 5-5 in Ohio.
Hey, copy the 5-5 in Ohio. You're a 5-9 into Victor Echo 0434. Thanks so much for the contact.
Roger, Roger. Have a great day. 73. Alpha Charlie 0, Charlie Uniform.
There's a Kilowatt 2 station. Come on back, please.
Kilo 2, Bravo Radio Oscar.
Kilo 2, Bravo Radio Oscar. Got you in here at a 5 and 7 into Victor Echo 0434.
Roger that, Tracy. I appreciate picking me up. 5-7 also. 5-7 Southern Illinois. Thanks for the new park today. 7-3.
7-3, Park to Park station. Come on back.
Park to Park. Kilo Delta Niner. Yankee Oscar Delta. Tracy, you're coming in 5-9 into my 2 parks this morning. QSL.
Hey, Kilo Delta Niner. Come on back with the suffix, please.
Yankee Oscar Delta.
Got it. Kilo Delta Niner, Yankee Oscar Delta. You are 5-9 into Victor Echo 0434.
Thank you for the 5-9 into 0434. Tracy, I have 2 park numbers for you this morning if you're ready to copy.
I am ready. Please go.
Kilo 4208 4208.
Got Kilo 4208 in the next one.
Kilo 5683 5683. QSL.
And Kilo 5683. Thank you very much. Hey, sounds like you're having a good activation out there. You're putting in a nice signal.
Sorry about that, Tracy. I'm just really curious. Your voice sounds awfully familiar. Would I know your voice from somewhere?
If you've ever seen the YouTube channel Outdoors on the Air, you've seen me.
Yeah, I knew that's exactly what it was. I just wanted to confirm. I really enjoy your videos. Please keep making them, my friend. I'll tell you what, enjoy the rest of your activation. 7-3 and hold on. Whiskey 8, Romeo, November, Bravo.
Whiskey 8, Romeo, November, Bravo. Please copy 5 and 9, booming into VE 0434.
Well, I'm so happy to hear that because this is a little G90, 18 watts according to my meters here, to an end-fed antenna. You are also 5 and 9 here in Michigan, go.
Well, that's fantastic considering I'm using an FT817 at 5 watts.
Oh my goodness, you're doing very, very well at 5. You're making my 18 look like high power.
Yeah, what's with all that excess over on your end?
I'm sorry, repeat that again, please.
I said, what's with all the excess over on your end?
There you go, exactly. I just, you're supposed to always, hang on a minute here, just for fun, hang on.
Yeah, you bet. Go ahead.
This is 5 watts right here. How does 5 watts sound?
No difference. No difference at all.
Well, I guess we got to pull the string a little tighter, right?
Absolutely. Hey, it's wonderful making a contact with you, and thanks for that little test.
Very good. Well, 7-3 and take care. W8RNB.
With a successful activation under my belt, a booming headache and hunger forced me to shut down the station and get some lunch. I spent some time in the afternoon resting for a bit, then prepping firewood for the evening blaze. Once I had my dinner, faced with the prospect of cold weather settling in and possible rain, I moved the station into my sleeping tent. I pulled out the SGC SG 2020 and fired it up. It was time to try my hand at the 2023 CQ Worldwide Single Sideband DX contest. Here's a bit of how I did. I apologize for the poor video, but my camera couldn't focus on the rig in the red light coming from my lanterns. Another lesson learned. Next time I will use the lanterns in their white light mode.
Victor Echo 3 Tango.
Victor Echo 3 Tango Whiskey Mike.
Victor Echo 3 Tango Whiskey Mike, 5911.
5904.
Thank you, Papa Tango 5 Japan. Thank you, Japan.
Victor Echo 3 Tango Whiskey Mike.
Victor Echo 3 Tango Whiskey Mike, 5915.
5904.
Thank you, Italy Oscar 9 Alpha. Charlie Quebec 8 Mike, contest.
Victor Echo 3 Tango Whiskey Mike.
Victor Echo 2 TW1 5914.
Correction the call sign, Victor Echo 3 Tango Whiskey Mike, QSL.
Victor Echo 3, sorry about that, 5914.
Thank you, 5904.
04. Charlie Quebec 8 Mike.
Victor Echo 3 Tango Whiskey Mike.
5933. Victor Echo 3 Tango Whiskey Mike.
5 QSL 594.
Thanks. Charlie Tango 3 Kilo November. Thanks, Papa Japan 4 Kilo.
Victor Echo 3 Tango Whiskey Mike.
Again.
Victor Echo 3 Tango Whiskey Mike.
Victor 3 Tango Whiskey Mike 599.
594.
Thanks, Papa Juliet 4 Kilo. Victor 47 Tango.
Victor Echo 3 Tango Whiskey Mike.
Victor Echo 3.
Victor Echo 3 Tango Whiskey Mike.
Victor 3 Tango Whiskey Mike 598.
594.
Thank you.
I ended up pulling the plug a couple of hours in due to my persistent headache, but not before I had bagged a number of nice contacts. I called it a night and shut down the station. All in all, I felt my trip was successful. It's a lot of fun to be able to do a POTA activation and work the DX contest on the same trip. I'd recommend all of you dyed-in-the-wool POTA activators to try it sometime. Did you operate the CQ Worldwide Single Sideband DX contest from the field? If yes, how did it go? Please leave a comment below and let us know. That's all for this time. Thank you for watching. Now it's your turn. Get out of the shack, get outdoors, and get on the air. 7-3 from Tracy, VE3 TWM.